Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It's something I've noticed today that in this day and age, you have a lot of Christians and believers and followers of Christ that look at something that they believe to be a symbol of God, and they immediately hold a sort of hate or disdain for that symbol. I'm here to tell you that the symbol that you're looking at is not a symbol of God. That symbol that you're looking at is an altered version of what the symbol of God actually is. Now, why is this? Let's start with why, right? So why is this something that happens? Well, it is my belief that the adversary wants you to have a disdain for something that is the actual symbol of God. But there are key differences here that I want to point out for you guys today that hopefully you guys will be able to decipher. So let's just get into it. Okay, I want to talk about where this symbol comes from. And any true believer, any true follower of Christ understands where it comes from. It comes from God. We're talking about the rainbow, the actual rainbow, not something that looks like a rainbow but really isn't. And where does it come from? Well, let's go back to Genesis. Go back to the beginning. When you go to Genesis chapter 9, verse 13. And it says, I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant which is between me and you, and every living creature of all flesh. And the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the bow shall be in the cloud. And I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, this is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. As we know, that token is the rainbow. However, the vast majority of Christians and believers and followers of Christ have allowed a small group of people to cause them to have a disdain or a hate for something that is supposed to be a symbol of God, but really isn't. So there's no reason for you to have even that hate for that symbol. That symbol is not of God. There's a lot of key differences. So let's talk about the key differences. Well, for one thing, the bow that God has set in the sky, that only God can make, has only 7 colors. How do I know this? Well, reading. I've put into the description a link to a passage by a gentleman by the name of Carl Kirby. And he wrote something on reasons for hope. And that article is the LGBT rainbow flag the same as God's rainbow? Well, now we know the answer is no. And here are some key differences. One of the key differences, if you look at the flags and its evolution, originally it came out in 1978 by a gentleman, and his name is Gilbert Baker. 1978, San Francisco artist Gilbert Baker created his version of the rainbow flag in response to a local activist call for the need of a community symbol. Baker dyed and sewed the material for the first flag himself, and it had 8 colors. This multicolored flag morphed into a banner of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender movement, which is commonly referred to today as LGBT. Now, I want you to be aware, when you read this article, it's very clear. An actual rainbow only has 7 colors in it. How do you identify it? Well, remember the name Roy G. Biv? A lot of us learned this in elementary school. Why we stopped learning that, I don't know. Hopefully they still learn in elementary school what it truly is, what it truly represents, not what people try to make it represent. Because Roy G. Biv is not the same flag that you guys are having this disdain or this dislike for. No, and understand, anyone else that's listening, that the disdain or dislike that the adversary is trying to build up isn't for the people, but it's for the symbol itself, so that people can deny a symbol of a covenant that God has given. The fact of the matter remains is it's not the same symbol. God's rainbow has only 7 colors. It is Roy G. Biv, which represent red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Those are the colors of the rainbow, and anything other than that is not a representation of anything that God has given us. Now, you look at 1978, it has hot pink in there. 1979, it only has 6 colors. 2017 has black and brown in there, and has even pink back in there in 2018. You see the different variations of this pride flag. We all know what pride is. Truthfully, this is not any type of hate towards any group of people. And yes, when you even see the pride flag, you shouldn't hold any type of hate for any group of people. A lot of times, your eyes can tell lies that your mind doesn't realize. But realize real lies. And the real lie is that the symbol that you're holding this disdain to, because a small group of people choose to force their beliefs or ideology on you, or you feel that way. Doesn't mean it has actually happened, but you feel that way because it gets shown in television and media, etc. You automatically don't want to even associate with something that is a covenant of God. I would tell you this ought not to be so. You shouldn't be afraid to wear or represent anything that has an actual rainbow. And you know how to identify the rainbow now. So don't allow society to dictate for you how you're supposed to act, or how you're supposed to move, or how you're supposed to be. See, God's rainbow has always had 7 colors. This is just what it is. Do not be confused. Be ye not deceived. God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. This is not to any other group of people. That message is for the Christians, the followers of Christ. Because that feeling of disdain that you get when you see the rainbow, now you're getting a feeling of disdain, or a feeling of hate, or a feeling of disgust when you see something that is supposed to represent God. Don't be confused. Don't hold that disdain for any group of people, because you're not supposed to have that anyway. Do not allow society to dictate how you are supposed to feel or how you're supposed to act when it comes to something that God has given us. Yes, God has given his covenant. It is written. Yes, it is written indeed. Follow the word, not man. And that is how you can tell the differences between something that is a false representation versus what the real representation is. And yes, even the false representation isn't supposed to make you feel any type of way. Let them do as they do. Let them be as they be. It is not your job to hate anyone, so you ought not to hate anyone. Yes, you ought to love one another. Yes, be ye not deceived. God is not mocked. Whatsoever man sows, that shall he also reap. But that's all I wanted to talk to you guys about today. If you like what I had to say, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. If you dislike what I say, make sure you write dislike in the comments and timestamp it. And make sure you subscribe. And may everyone have a good morning, a good afternoon, and a good evening.